This is barely making headlines, but malaria and yellow fever are becoming a bigger and bigger crisis in South Africa. Angola specifically is having a real problem with malaria. Back in 2014, 5,500 people in Angola died of malaria. In 2015, that number grew to 8,000. And in the first quarter of 2016 alone, that number is nearly 3,000. The WHO's Angola representative, Hernando Ospina, said this new malaria outbreak has devastated the entire country. Even in provinces that have low endemic prevalence, we are seeing the spread and surge in cases. What is causing this? Well, Ospina from the WHO said uncollected garbage in Luanda due to government budget cuts is contributing to the problem. A record high amount of rainfall has contributed to more malaria as well as yellow fever. Malaria is a mosquito-borne disease caused by parasites. The symptoms include fever, chills, flu-like illness, and if you leave it untreated, it can cause severe complications and death. In the United States, there are about 1,500 or so cases of malaria diagnosed each year, and most of them are in travelers who have been to countries where malaria transmission is occurring. Many of those sub-Saharan Africa, South Asia. Angola is the seventh largest country in Africa, huge petroleum reserves, very quickly growing economy, but Lewis, a very low standard of living, because by and large, that economic growth from petroleum, as we have seen happen the world over, is heavily concentrated among the richest individuals. And life expectancy and infant mortality are some of the worst in the world in Angola.
Malaria is really nasty, and it's a really nasty problem over there. It's one of those things that has become kind of politicized because there are those who are saying, look, we can get these people what they need to help them deal with malaria.
Right.
We have the resources. Why isn't this happening? And it's a source of a lot of debate. And
in addition to just malaria, there is also a yellow fever outbreak, smaller, but it is happening. The Angola yellow fever outbreak has killed 258 people since December of 2015, just in the last 5 months. Sometimes people get confused between malaria and yellow fever because both are transmitted by mosquitoes, but the difference is malaria is caused by a parasite transmitted by mosquitoes, whereas yellow fever is actually a virus that you get from the mosquito. So related in some sense, but different conditions. This is actually an opportunity for the U.S. to get involved now and help. And as Lewis said, it has become very politicized. Instead of debating whether we should be the world's policeman, what about being the world's doctor when appropriate, when affordable, when we can make an impact, which we clearly could here?
Yeah, well, I guess it's just more important to spend trillions of dollars on pointless wars.
Is that what you think? That's what is at the root of this? The defense industrial paradigm?
Well, that's what our presidents and lawmakers have decided, right?
You know what could get us very much involved? If Rand Paul comes out and says any second we're going to have a malaria outbreak in the U.S., and then you get a couple people on Fox News, so-called experts, saying ban all travel to and from Angola, that would be the way to get people in the United States to pay attention to this. And I will remind you, and I'm not suggesting this will become the Ebola thing. We started talking about Ebola 6 months before it became prevalent in the United States, not in terms of actual contagion, but in terms of media discussion. And at the time, nobody wanted to talk about it. Nobody cared about it on corporate media because it wasn't yet affecting the United States. You can be sure at the point at which there is even fear-mongering about this affecting the United States, Obama will be talking about it. All of a sudden, we'll be involved.
Yeah, well, maybe we should light that fire right now and just tell people that it's happening here. See if it catches.
Give us a like on Facebook, facebook.com/David Pakman Show. We will take a quick break. Very interesting and important interview coming up.